wholesaling, fix and flip investing, buy and hold investing, a lot of different ways to make money in real estate. The question is, how do you build real wealth in real estate? What's up, everybody? It's Jamel Gibbs, your family-oriented entrepreneur. Welcome to today's video. Now, in today's video, I want to answer the question, how do you get wealthy from real estate? Now, this is a question that came in just yesterday in the comment section on my YouTube channel from someone by the name of Billionaire Dubai. So shout out to Billionaire Dubai for leaving such a great question. And I hope that this video is going to help you mentally as well as physically in prepping for building real wealth in real estate. So before we jump into all of that, let's define what wealth is. What's considered to be real wealth? If I go to the dictionary right here, the definition of wealth, it basically says an abundance of valuable possessions or money. So that's one phrase. The next one says the state of being rich, material prosperity. Some people buy boats and cars to display their wealth, or plentiful supplies of a particular resource. For example, the country's mineral wealth. Those are three different ways to look at wealth. I'm not saying that those are incorrect, but if I put this into real estate terms, if I go to investorpedia.com and I pull up what is wealth, here's the definition. The value of all the assets of worth owned by a person, community, company, or country. What's the common denominator here? The common denominator is the value of the assets owned by someone or an entity. Your wealth is accumulated by the assets that you own over a period of time, provided those assets hold value to someone else or to you over that period of time. So it can be an art collection that's worth $1 million, a bunch of cars that you don't drive and they're collector's items. It can be anything that has value to it, and you accumulate these assets over a period of time. Years ago, I read this book that everybody watching this video has probably read at some point in time. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, his explanation of wealth was something that really opened my mind up to the thought of building wealth in the first place. The way he put it, you're considered to be wealthy when your income exceeds your expenses while minimizing your personal efforts. In layman's terms, I can make a lot of money and I can spend a lot of money. I can always make more money than I spend. If I have to go out and hustle for the money in order to be able to take care of my expenses, then I just have a full paying job. I'm not gaining real wealth out of that. But if I gain enough assets to where my income from the assets exceeds my expenses on a monthly basis, and I minimize my workload, let's say I don't even have to work. I'm just going to the mailbox and collecting checks. We call it mailbox money, or I'm just having money deposited into my bank account every single day or every single month, and I really don't have to work for it, then my assets is paying for my livelihood. And as long as those assets, the income from the assets exceed the expenses that I accumulate every month, I'm considered to be a wealthy individual. I don't care if it's $1 more. If I'm making, let's say, $5,000 a month in income, but I'm spending $4,999 per month, then my income exceeds my expenses without my personal efforts, and I'm considered to be wealthy. Basically, wealth is considered to be an accumulation of assets that hold value, that can bring in enough income for you so that you can be able to live off of them. And wealthy is when you own assets that will give you enough income to pay for all your expenses without a large part of your personal efforts. So now that we have that framework in place, in the very beginning of this video, we talked about multiple ways to make money in real estate. So I'm going to give you an analogy, and I want you to draw your own conclusion as to which one of these scenarios will help you in building real wealth. So the first analogy goes like this. Let's say, for example, you go to a flea market, you see a rare collectible. You don't buy the collectible, but you negotiate the price down, and then you contact somebody who collects items like this, and you know that they'll pay a little bit more for it. And then you just connect the two together. You connect the buyer and the seller together. Make yourself a small profit in between. What exactly are you doing? Well, in real estate terms, wholesaling. That's exactly what you're doing. Now, let's say, for example, you do this once a week and you make a fair income from doing this once a week. But one day you decide to go on vacation and you don't have any employees or anything like that. So let's say you go away for 2 weeks, you completely stop. What happens to your income once you stop moving the needle? Your income is going to stop as well. This is a form of income that we call active income. When you think about active income, wholesaling real estate, again, finding a rare item, finding a rare deal, selling that deal to somebody who you know is going to buy it, and then making a profit in between is considered to be wholesaling real estate, but that's active income. The minute you stop moving the needle, the minute you stop wholesaling real estate, you're going to be out of business. Your income is going to stop. So my question to you, based on the definition that we use for wealth, is wholesaling real estate a wealth builder, or is it just a way for you to make an income in real estate? I'm going to get to what my thoughts are towards the end of this video. I want you to think about it. Another analogy, you work at a burger joint and you're constantly flipping burgers. And you flip those burgers in order to be able to make a profit. Every burger you flip will bring another dollar for you. Now, let's say, for example, it's the end of the day, the burger joint shuts down. What happens to the income once you shut down? The income stops, doesn't it? You got to keep hustling, flipping those burgers in order to be able to continue making profits for the business. If you decide to take a break, if you decide to shut down, if you decide to go on vacation, the money stops. Now, let's put that in real estate terms. I'll find a house. It's a fixer-upper, and I got to bring on an entire team in order to get the property fixed up. And then once the property is fixed, I got to hire a realtor or sell it myself, and then I can make a profit. That's called fixing and flipping real estate. Now, you can make a tremendous amount of money doing this. You guys have seen videos of me doing this on YouTube. We make a lot of money flipping houses. If I don't have a team, if I don't have a real business set up, and I stop flipping houses at any point in time, if I stop looking for deals, if I'm not borrowing money or using my own cash to buy real estate, if I just decide, hey, I want to take 2 months off from flipping houses, what's going to happen with the income? It's going to stop. Once again, think about the definition of wealth. Think about flipping houses and ask yourself, does flipping houses generate real wealth? Does it build real wealth for you as a real estate investor? So you have wholesaling real estate, active income, and you might as well consider flipping houses as active income as well, because you actively have to do something in order to be able to produce the money. Now let's go to a final analogy. Let's say, for example, I have apple seeds and I want to plant an apple tree in my yard. I can plant the apple tree. Once it blossoms, it's going to provide the apples that I need. And we can pick all of the apples off of the tree. Once all of the apples are gone, guess what happens? More apples start to grow back. And we get the benefit from this tree for as long as we have that tree on our property and as long as we don't chop the tree down or sell it to somebody. In the real estate world, we call that passive investing. So you have active investing and then you have passive investing. Now let's say, for example, I want more apple trees. So I can take the seeds from the apples and plant more trees with the seeds and continue to build more and more trees from the initial seed that we planted in order to get the initial tree up. And we can continue to eat not only from the first tree, but we can also eat from all of the other trees that we grow on the property. Now, if we put that into real estate terms, that apple tree would be a buy and hold investment, a rental property, an Airbnb, any type of long-term investment in real estate that holds value. Any type of investment that's going to continue to feed you every single month. It could be an apartment building, a self-storage unit, anything like that. These hold value, they continue to go up in price, and they provide income for you every single month with very minimal effort. There's nothing that's 100% foolproof that you don't have to do. There's always going to be some effort that you're going to put out toward it, but it's the closest thing to a passive investment that you can get in real estate. Or you can hire a property manager in order to be able to maintain the property for you or whatever the case may be. But even then, you still got to talk to the property manager to make sure things are up and running. If we're equating it to the apple tree, you do the work one time and it continues to grow and feed you over and over and over again. It continues to provide the fruit, the apples, and those apples can bring in more apples from the initial tree that you planted. So the first two are active income strategies, right? You have to go out and actually physically do some work in order to be able to get the income from those investments. The final strategy is called a passive income strategy. And the more of these investments you own, the more income they can generate with very minimal effort on your part. Again, just like the first two, thinking about the definition of wealth and being wealthy based on what we discussed in this video, where do you think buy and hold real estate investing falls in to play when we're looking at these analogies? What do you think? Leave a comment in the comment section below. And there's two things I really want you to keep in mind when it comes to generating real wealth in real estate. Number one, the longer you own something, the more you can profit from that thing. Again, using the analogy of the apple tree. If I said I cut down the apple tree, or I kill the apple tree off, or I dig it up and I sell it to somebody else, I'm never going to eat from that apple tree ever again. I might get paid one time from it, but now I have to do the work again in order to plant another apple tree. Same thing with real estate. If I buy a rental property, the minute I sell the rental property, I stop eating from the rental property. I might be able to fill my bank account up front, but at the end of the day, I eat from it the one time and that's it. Kind of like wholesaling and fixing and flipping real estate. If I decided to keep the apple tree, what happens with an apple tree year after year after year? It continues to provide more and more apples. If I keep my rental property over a period of time and it serves a purpose for me, I can continue to eat from it over and over and over again. And not only eat, but it can help me to get more rental properties. And those rental properties can help me get even more rental properties. Now remember what the definition of wealth is. It's the value of all the assets of worth owned by a person. So if I'm continuing to gain more and more assets that have worth, that have value to them over a period of time, am I building wealth? If the income from these assets, from these rental properties exceed my expenses every month and I barely have to do anything to collect it, am I considered to be a wealthy person? What do you think? So what's the game plan? What type of game plan can you have in place in order to be able to gain real wealth? Two things. Look at where you are right now and look at where you want to go. Do you need to build up your bank account? Do you need to pay off debt? Do you have money to invest? Do you have some seeds to invest in the first place? Look at your circumstances. What are you trying to accomplish? That should be your starting point. Look at your circumstances. Look at where you are right now and ask yourself, what position am I in right now? And where should I start? If you don't have the seeds to invest, if you have debt to pay off, if you don't have money saved up, if you need to build your bank account, fixing and flipping or maybe wholesaling will be a great way for you to start just to get out of that situation. Make it a short-term goal for yourself, but the long-term goal should be doing what? Building assets. So a good game plan for that, wholesale 4 houses, then flip 2 or 3 houses, accumulate all of that money and take that money and go out and buy yourself a long-term rental property, an asset that you can build over time that's going to start generating wealth. And then over a period of time, after putting in the work, you'll work less as your assets build up and you continue to build wealth in real estate. Second, think about where you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years. Do you want to have real wealth? Do you want to have passive income? Do you want to have the opportunity to minimize your workload, work on your own time? Do you want to have that free time in order to be able to do what you want? Maybe you don't, but I know a good amount of people, especially watching this video, they do. The question of the day is, how do you gain real wealth in real estate? The simple answer is, and I think you kind of figured it out, you got to hold. The more you hold, the longer you own something, the more money you make from it, and it continues to go up in value over a period of time. So you have wholesaling, you have fixing and flipping. Those can fill up your bank account, but buying and holding real estate is how you gain real wealth. So that leads to a question. Does land investing allow you to build real wealth as well? And the simple answer is it really depends. Think about it like this. If I own a piece of land, it's not necessarily generating income every month, but it can appreciate in value. So my question to you is, do you think land is a wealth generator? Leave a comment in the comment section. I'm interested to see what you guys think about that. Maybe we can do another video on that one as well. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell. And again, leave a comment in the comment section based on the questions that I presented to you today. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.